Drink your water. What's up, guys? It is Jonathan with One Big Impact. I just wanted to talk about a couple things really quick going into 2019. I was just listening to some reset your mental state music, and it kind of got me thinking. Um, Going into 2019, let's be completely honest. This year will or can be really tough, and you might get lost, or you might get stressed out, or you might be going through a lot of things and stuff. And that's normal. That's to be expected. Unfortunately, it's to be expected. But I think what we need to, and I will be, and I have been over the last, I'd say about 8 or 9 months, I've always thought of myself as a person that is a bad judge of character because I read it one time in a book. And why that why I have lived myself as being a person which is defined by some random words that I saw in a book. I'm not sure, but regardless, I also read something later that I was also quite intuitive. My intuition was really good and stuff. So when I read that, I actually started looking back, and because I had thought that for a long time that I was a bad judge of character because of just situations in my life and things, and I just began to believe it. I also wanted to question the idea of, am I actually in tune with my intuition? Am I actually an intuitive person? Can I trust my intuition? So instead of laying down and just taking the information this time, I actually wanted to do some research in my own life to be able to prove it instead of just taking it and running with it and potentially carrying a bad stigma for too long. So I did. I started looking back, and I started looking back at circumstances in which were unfavorable on my part. And I thought back to, excuse me, happens every time I start talking on video, I'm sorry. I started to think back, and I began to think about situations that were unfavorable, like I was saying. And funny enough, in those situations, I had remembered thinking not to do something, or and I still, even though against my own best judgment, said, you know what, just do it anyway. It's fine. Do it anyway. And I did it anyway. And whether it got me in trouble or it got me whatever the circumstance or whatever the consequence was, it wasn't good. Okay? So by not trusting my intuition, even though it was there, I got myself in more of an issue than I would have if I were actually to listen. So I've started to listen to my intuition. And what I have to say about intuition, a lot of people don't understand it. Basically, it's kind of like your conscience, or it's that voice. You really do have all the answers. You don't have the answers like, how do I increase my glutes, or how do I get a better, or whatever, in the gym. You're not going to know that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you ask yourself, say you sit down in front of a meal, maybe not a meal that's on your plan or something like that. You sit down in front of it. The whole time you're eating that, most likely, if you do it on a regular basis, it's not supposed to be done. You're thinking, I should not be doing this. I should not be doing this. When you go out drinking and you have to go to work the next day, in the beginning, before alcohol infects your mind for the night, you think this is a really bad idea. You do it anyway. So my suggestion going into 2019 is to slow down. Just slow down sometimes. Listen to those inner voices, because a lot of the times you're looking around for answers and people will be peer pressuring you, whether it's food, whether it's alcohol, whether it's just bad decisions, whether it's relationships, whether it's marriages, whatever it is, okay? Trust yourself a little more than you probably do. Now, I'm not saying everybody is keenly intuitive, okay? But if you have a little voice in the back of your mind saying do or don't do or something like that, trust it for a little bit, because in the big scheme of things, there's only going to be one person in your life forever. And that's the only guarantee. Um, the only guarantee in life is actually death, but the other guarantee is that you're going to be the only one that's around. You know, you can't guarantee your husband or your wife or whatever. Yes, I get it. You love them, whatever. Okay, fine. It's not a thing that is for sure. Okay, for sure, you need to trust yourself. For sure, you need to love yourself enough to at least practice listening to yourself. Practice saying, okay, all right, fine. I don't want to do it. Work on your self discipline. Work on these things. Slow down. Remember, you're not perfect, and that's fine. That's what makes you. The fact that you are imperfect is what makes you so perfect. You are uniquely imperfect, and it's amazing. But you also have to remember to listen to yourself. And going into 2019, I really want to challenge all of you guys, whether it's eating, whether it's your career, no matter what aspect it is of life, just give yourself a little bit more credit, slow down, get quiet, and listen to the voice inside your head. I'm not saying listen to, you hear voices, you know what I mean. Your conscience, the voice that you don't want to listen to, the angel on your shoulder. Listen to it. Follow it. See what happens. See if it gets you in and out of certain circumstances. You might be in a relationship right now that you don't really want to be in. Listen to that voice. Listen to the voice, because I know you want to make your kids happy, your family, you don't want to disrupt, you don't want to hurt the person, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, you matter most. You really do. By making others or trying to save others from suffering, you're making others suffer more, because you're not giving the best version of yourself. If you are neglecting your own heart and your own soul, then you're not helping anybody. You're making it worse. It's just like you can't care for others unless you care for yourself. It's the same type of thing, but even worse. So be really careful about that, you guys. Listen to yourself this year. Please remember that you do have answers to the questions that you're asking. Have a beautiful day. Be stronger than your excuses. And remember to spread love, not hate. Peace.